Welcome back to another episode of Forgotten Tales. In this episode, we're exploring the powerful influence of religion on food choices throughout history. From ancient offerings to modern diets, religious practices have shaped what people eat, how they prepare food, and even how they think about eating. For some, religious dietary laws offer a way to honor their beliefs, maintain purity, or practice discipline. These sacred practices don't just affect individuals, they shape entire cultures, create unique culinary traditions, and connect communities profoundly. Join us on this journey as we explore the fascinating relationship between faith and food. Picture this: every meal you eat connects you to thousands of years of history, culture, and spirituality. Around the world, millions of people follow dietary rules rooted in ancient traditions, passed down from generation to generation. For some, these choices are about nourishment and taste, but for others, they carry deeper significance, reflecting beliefs about purity, community, and the divine. Why do some people avoid certain foods and others follow strict preparation methods? Today, we'll uncover how religion has shaped dietary choices across different cultures and ages, creating a fascinating web of food traditions that endure to this day. Our story begins with ancient civilizations, where food and spirituality were often deeply intertwined. Thousands of years ago, the earliest human societies used food as a way to communicate with the divine. Ancient Egyptians, for instance, had strict food rituals for both religious and cultural reasons. Certain foods were sacred to the gods. Lotus flowers, for example, symbolized rebirth and were offered to deities as a sign of devotion. In Mesopotamia, people offered bread, beer, and lamb to their gods, believing these foods would secure divine protection and blessings. For the Greeks and Romans, offerings of fruit, honey, and wine became routine parts of religious ceremonies. Each item had symbolic meaning, representing a plea for health, wealth, or peace. Over time, as these early belief systems evolved, certain foods took on sacred status. Foods that symbolized purity or life, such as fruits and grains, were preferred offerings. Meanwhile, sacrificial animals were chosen carefully, symbolizing abundance or prosperity. These early food practices laid the groundwork for many of the dietary guidelines seen in today's religions. From these beginnings, food became more than just sustenance. It became a spiritual offering and a link to the divine. As we move forward to established religions, we find that dietary restrictions became even more significant. Judaism, for instance, introduced kosher laws which define what foods are permissible, as well as how they must be prepared and eaten. These laws can be seen in texts as ancient as the Torah, where certain foods are prohibited, including pork and shellfish, while other foods must be prepared in specific ways, such as the ritual slaughtering of animals. Following these laws is a way for many Jewish people to feel spiritually connected and in tune with their faith. Islam, too, has comprehensive dietary guidelines. Known as Halal, these rules permit certain foods and prohibit others, including pork and alcohol. Like Kosher, Halal foods must also meet specific preparation standards, including the ritual slaughtering of animals, which should be done with compassion. These dietary laws are often linked to the concepts of cleanliness, mercy, and mindfulness, reinforcing a sense of respect and reverence in the act of eating. In Hinduism, dietary practices vary widely but are often rooted in the principle of ahimsa, or nonviolence. Many Hindus follow a vegetarian diet, believing that abstaining from meat is a way to avoid harming other living beings. This principle of compassion extends to the environment as well, as many Hindus seek to eat foods that are both spiritually and environmentally sustainable. In Buddhism, similar values prevail, particularly within sects that practice vegetarianism as a way to cultivate compassion and mindfulness. These dietary laws and customs create a framework that makes eating a spiritual act. Following these guidelines is a reminder of one's beliefs, a sign of devotion, and a path to self-discipline. The physical act of eating becomes a way of expressing faith and belonging, reinforcing a person's connection to their community and their God. The impact of religious dietary choices goes beyond the individual. It extends to entire cultures and societies. When we look at different celebrations, we see how food traditions create cultural identity. Think of Diwali, the Hindu festival of lights, where sweets like laddus and barfis are prepared and shared among family and friends. These traditional foods symbolize the joy of the festival and are offerings to the gods for blessings in the coming year. In Islam, the month of Ramadan holds profound spiritual significance. Every day, Muslims around the world break their fast at sunset with a meal called iftar, traditionally starting with dates and water, followed by dishes like lentil soup and rice. The communal nature of iftar fosters a sense of unity, and reminds Muslims of the values of charity, patience, and empathy for the less fortunate. Similarly, the Jewish celebration of Passover is centered around a ritual meal called the Seder, where symbolic foods like matzah and bitter herbs commemorate the story of the Exodus. These religious food customs create a sense of shared history, fostering a bond among members of the faith. They make each celebration unique and significant, adding a layer of meaning to the food that goes beyond taste or nutrition. Food becomes a vessel of memories and traditions passed down from generation to generation, keeping cultural identities alive. The influence of religious dietary choices isn't limited to specific religious groups. It has permeated mainstream culture and even inspired modern eating trends. Vegetarianism and veganism, which have grown in popularity in recent years, echo the spiritual principles found in Hinduism and Buddhism. The idea of reducing harm to animals and practicing mindful eating aligns with the religious value of compassion and respect for life. Many people, regardless of their religious background, are drawn to these diets for their ethical and environmental benefits, which trace back to religious teachings on compassion. Similarly, kosher and halal foods are now widely available in grocery stores, making it easier for those who follow these diets to find options. But beyond convenience, these foods are often chosen by people who appreciate the standards of quality and purity associated with kosher and halal products. The popularity of these dietary choices reflects the ways religious practices shape broader societal values, influencing food quality standards, ethical food production, and even the rise of health-conscious eating. As we've seen, the influence of religion on food choices is a complex story of tradition, belief, and identity. Through the rules and customs of various faiths, food becomes more than just a means of survival. It's a spiritual practice, a symbol of community, and a way to connect with the divine. These traditions remind us that what we eat can carry meaning far beyond the plate, touching on our values, our heritage, and our sense of self. Before you go, we'd love to hear from you. How has religion influenced your food choices or those of people you know? Or have you tried foods or dietary practices from other religious traditions? Share your thoughts and stories in the comments below. In our next episode, we'll take a journey through food and holidays, forgotten traditions. We'll explore how different cultures celebrate holidays with food and the stories behind these delicious traditions that are slowly fading away. Join us as we rediscover forgotten holiday feasts, from the rich flavors of medieval Christmas banquets to the delicacies of ancient spring festivals. And as always, if you enjoyed this journey through time, hit the like button, share this video with fellow history lovers, and subscribe to our channel for more fascinating content. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you never miss an episode of Forgotten Tales. Until next time, remember, history is full of stories waiting to be uncovered, stories that blur the line between myth and reality.